if you think about independent research as working in isolation, I think that can really sort of inflame imposter feelings. Because in fact, we're never really working alone, right? Even if you're thinking about reading a book, someone had to write that book in order to get it in your hands, and someone had to print it, and someone had to publicize it. There's like a whole chain of people working behind you. And you can always reach out to people both in that chain and around you for help. So working alone is a fiction. We're all in it together. That means no one's silent. In the context of my advice to you today, so I'm just going to leave this up here. You can read it at your own leisure while I'm talking, because that's more exciting than listening to me. So in the context of today, that means that it's fine if you don't know what you're doing, because no one's born knowing this stuff, and anyone who acts otherwise is probably someone that you shouldn't be hanging out with if you can help it. So I think this XKCD cartoon offers a way in. It's to say that a good teacher, a good mentor, collaborator is never going to make you feel bad for not knowing something. They're just going to think, oh, I was in your position once. I can also help you learn it, and I'm excited to show you. So to that end, I don't know if you actually read this, but who here knows what happens if you put Mentos in Diet Coke? Yeah? Okay, so who doesn't know? Does everyone know this thing now? Who doesn't know what happens? Be strong. Anyone? Everyone knows what happens if you put Mentos in Diet Coke? Everyone? Is there anyone who doesn't?
I think it's on the YouTube.
It's on the YouTube? Well, yeah, it is on the YouTube. So imagine that someone here didn't know it. We would all have this fun thing together where you watch Mentos exploding out of Diet Coke.
The most common theory about what's going on
it's going to happen in like 5 to 10 seconds.
It's awesome.
Is what's called nucleation. Basically, the idea is that the surface of the candy is covered with microscopic pits and lots of more surface area than you can actually see. And each little pit, each little corner provides what's called a nucleation.
So you're all in the know, you're all confident, you have no problems with knowledge, right? But if you can imagine someone in here not knowing, the process of not knowing doesn't need to be scary. Instead, it can also just be, it's a process that everyone goes through. So Jerome McGann, English professor at UVA, and zero digital humanities thinker, calls this imagining what you don't know. The idea behind that is that anytime you work on a project, the work that you're doing changes the nature of your project as you're doing it. And so you set out with one set of goals, and then as you're working, those goals change. So you might start out thinking, we're going to do a virtual reality model of this church. And then as you're working and going, you might finish that model, but then you might find out that we're actually interested in something else, or we want to apply that model to a different church. We're really interested in religious space more generally. So the unknown doesn't need to be scary. In fact, it's something that it's around us all the time, right? And so if you're thinking, we don't need to worry about the skills that we do have. If you're thinking, I'm stressed out about the skills that I don't have, I don't think you need to worry about it.